Broadcasting. Um, I kind of go back and forth on my favorite film. There's kind of a top three. I really love Citizen Kane, Big Fish, and Miracle. Those three just kind of circle each other in my mind. I know Citizen Kane obviously is the classic, one of the best movies ever made, and just incredible story. I really, really enjoyed how they adapted Miracle from the true life story. Yeah, that's the story of the Miracle on Ice, the victory of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team over Russia at the Olympic Games. Yeah, it was an exceptional movie done in, I think it was 2005, starring Kurt Russell. And Big Fish is a Tim Burton film starring Ewan McGregor and Helena Bonham Carter. All about, it's a split relationship between a father and son, and the son trying to figure out how much of a... Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Wells is an incredible writer. Let me think. What's the last H.G. Wells? I mean, wait, are you checking H.G. Wells or Orson Welles? You spelled it W-E-L-L-E-S, so must be Orson Welles, yes. Well, Citizen Kane is, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I should have realized from the E-S in Wells instead of H.G. Wells. Yeah, Orson did some incredible stuff with Citizen Kane. Just the fact that that was his first picture and he just hit it out of the park right from the start was incredible. And of course, that whole story, H.L. Mencken wrote that, or not Mencken, Minkowitz. Big difference between Mencken and Minkowitz. Wrote that inspired by William Randolph Hearst, the famous newspaperman, and he tried to get the movie stopped, and he didn't succeed. And it turns out it's one of our best pictures, and got so many movies and television and other stories today. Hey, how's it going? Steal from Citizen Kane. So, oh yeah. Have you watched RKO-281, the HBO movie about the making of Citizen Kane, starring Lee Schreiber as Orson Welles? But yeah, they came out. I'm trying to remember when that movie came out. I believe it was in the early 2000s. But it was, Lee Schreiber as Orson Welles, James Cromwell as William Randolph Hearst. Yeah, you said that. Yeah, it's just interesting because it went to the mechanics of them making the movie, but also dealing with the politics of it and everything. Really interesting story. It's just amazing how Citizen Kane is already such a good story. Cool. Well, yeah, it is pretty much the standard for filmmakers when it's considered one of the greatest films ever. It continually tops the AFI lists of best movies ever and all the other ones. There is that one little complicit lie at the beginning of it when you see him in the movie, when he says Rosebud, there's nobody in the room to hear it, yet somehow it started the whole cascade of the movie of trying to figure out what the meaning of Rosebud was. But still, good movie. I still love it. So yeah, so movies as vehicles for stories. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I feel that obviously it takes a lot away. You don't have to imagine as much when you're watching a movie versus when you're reading a book or listening to an audio play. With those, you have to visualize in your head and even write down to what the characters look like, while the movies, it gives it all to you. But my main drawback about movies a lot of times is they take complicated, layered stories and try to simplify them as much as possible to make them fit within that 2-hour window. And you saw what happened with the Lord of the Rings. They condensed the Lord of the Rings trilogy so much to fit even in 3-hour windows. Then when they went to make The Hobbit, they decided to not condense it. Instead, they stretched it out. So they actually put too much detail, too much story, and turned The Hobbit into 3 movies when probably it could have been fine as 1 or at most 2. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship was probably fine to stay at 1, even though they did completely remove a whole character. Oh yeah. Well, Vertigo is an incredible film. Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak are excellent in it, and it's definitely Hitchcock at his best. But with the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship kind of fits, even though they removed some characters and combined 2 characters together. Two Towers probably could have been 2 movies. Fellowship could have been a trilogy in and of itself. And they took so much out from the book. And his, one character had his whole storyline cut to next to nothing. Trying to think, what was Hitchcock? I mean, Hitchcock created a lot of his stuff himself, but sometimes he took things that were inspired. Let's see. Yes, The Master of Suspense. Yeah, Vertigo, 1958. God, it's been years since I watched Vertigo. And it's actually based on the French novel D'Entre les Morts, or From Among the Dead, by Boyo Narcejac. And then the screenplay was written by Alec Koppel and Samuel A. Taylor. Man, I haven't seen that movie in years. Yeah, it was considered the 9th greatest American movie of all time in 2007. And it replaced Citizen Kane as the best film ever made in the 2012 British Film Institute Sight and Sounds Critics Poll. Yeah. Well, it's weird how that works out so much. There was a detective novel that wasn't that great, and they ended up turning it into Die Hard. And Die Hard's a great film. And you know, tis the season to see Die Hard, since it is a Christmas movie. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting messages from different posts on Facebook and everything. Let's see, we got... Oh, yes, because on our various Facebook pages, we always poll our audience to see what people are reading each month. Since we're aois21, so we do all that kind of stuff on the 21st. And right now, people are filling up our Facebook pages with their comments. So let's see. So, yeah. Well, it's kind of difficult to be suspenseful when making a literary masterpiece, because some people will have read it, or he could fix things that didn't work out well. Like Rear Window was a short story called "It Had to Be Murder," and short stories actually work well as movies because they're short enough and they're not as complex as a novel might be. In fact, the only thing I've seen lately that has done a really good job of taking a book and putting it out there was the first season of Wayward Pines. And that was starring Matt Dillon, and it was adapted by M. Night Shyamalan with 2, at that time, unknown writers, the Duffer Brothers. They were adapted the 3-book series of Wayward Pines into a 12-episode TV show. And it worked out quite well because it allowed each book to breathe by getting, 4 hours instead of what one movie could do in 2. And then it all flowed together quite nicely. And then, of course, they decided rather late in the game to do a second season, at which point the Duffer Brothers had moved on to create Stranger Things, which Wayward Pines season 2 was not good at all. And Stranger Things is just incredible. I finished season 2 a week and a half ago and thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's see. North by Northwest was an original screenplay. Psycho That'll be a novel with the same name by Robert Bloch. Let me see that one. Let's see. And what was not listing one here. Which one is the one I'm thinking of? There's another one that he did. It was really good. Not the Lodger. Oh, Dial M for Murder. Yeah. 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 And actually, they don't list what the source for that one was. Oh, it was the stage play. Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, we see that a lot with movies and visual storytellers, where they'll take a book or at least the idea from a book and just go off on it on their own direction with something entirely different. I'm trying to remember. There's a movie that came out this past year where they basically just took the title from the book and the basics of it, but ended up creating a completely different movie. Oh, what was that? I mean, obviously Hollywood's been doing that kind of stuff for years. Oh, well, we got The Man Who Invented Christmas about to come out, about the writing of Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, it's your first day. Welcome, if your first day on Periscope. Thanks for watching with us. Oh, hi, bonjour. I'm American, and I speak some very poor French, so I apologize already for probably butchering bonjour. Let's see. Oh, Murder on the Orient Express, obviously, one of the Poirot Adventures from Agatha Christie. It's now out, but that keeps pretty well to the story. Blade Runner, of course, was a Philip K. Dick story called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And, of course, the sequel. And the movie diverged greatly from the original story, and the sequel obviously builds on that. We got new Amazon TV show Jack Ryan, which is based off of the Tom Clancy novels, but it is not, in fact, continuation. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Hitchcock didn't do most of the writing. He had screenwriters working for him. And but yeah, his direction. Well, he did things as a director and as an editor that people weren't doing at the time. There was a lot. Nobody was really doing jump cuts the way he was, and he did a lot. There's a lot of symbolism that was just incredible in his work. Like, and particularly the one shining moment of it is that scene is Psycho after the attack in the shower, when you have the blood just going down the drain, and realizing that they did that in black and white, so the real power of having, if it was actual blood. Oh yeah, absolutely. My name is Keith Shelvin. I'm publisher of aois21 Media. So any questions you have about books, podcasts, or video series, I'm here to answer them. So we usually have a general open discussion about storytelling and other things on these monthly webcasts. We actually haven't done them in a couple months. Last month we had our release party for our literary magazine, the aois21 Annual. The month before, I think I got caught at an HOA meeting that went long. And we've had technical difficulties and all kinds of other problems over the past few months. So, in fact, when was the last time we did one of these? Because I always tried to do it monthly. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of coughing. Yeah, yes, I understand. I studied French for 3 years in high school, so I still have a basic understanding of it. Let's see the last. Bonjour. or good day. Let's see, the last one we did was actually, wow, July. We haven't done one of these webcasts since July. I'll apologize for that. That's really, and yeah, we've done June as well. So yeah, well, we're back now. I'm here. This has been a good conversation so far. It's fantastic. Yeah. So I didn't see there was a biopic about Hitchcock they made a couple years ago starring Anthony Hopkins. I believe with what's her name? What publication? Well, got me specific than that. I run a publishing company, and well, it's a full media company now. We have 17 books. We put out 4 years of literary magazine. We have 9 podcasts going, and this is one of 5 video series that we do. Excuse me. We are storytellers, and we're trying to find the best way to reach people and to help people tell their stories to get them out to a wider audience. I started this webcast, was that 2015? I attended a marketing conference in Maryland. Well, the 9 podcasts, they range from, we have a weekly one called Literary This Week that I host discussing news and literature. We have a sexuality podcast called Sex Vex Perplexed. We have a publishing process podcast called Publish Me. We do a news commentary podcast monthly called The World's Only Podcast. We have a poetry podcast called Passion on the Page. We just launched a new educational podcast called History of the Symphony. The first episode actually went live this past Saturday. I look like Ace Ventura. Okay. Donald Trump is good or bad? Well, I voted for Hillary. I've never been a fan of Trump, and I'm still not a fan now. Don't understand how I look like Ace Ventura. I have a beard, he didn't, and my hair is kind of contained while he's kind of woo. Yeah, anything other podcast series we got, and then we have if you've ever listened to the radio show Prairie Home Companion, we have one of our creatives decided to create a podcast series in the mold of that, but with his background in his Jewish culture. It's set in Baltimore, called Tales from the Old New Land. Then we have a history podcast called It's Not Even Past. So I think that covered all of them. Wow, we have a lot of people watching today. Fantastic. Feel free to send in any questions you have. Tell me what you're reading, what you're interested in, what you like to read. What's your favorite book? Whatever you want to talk about. See, I'm not seeing anything coming in on Twitter or YouTube. We got a lot of hearts coming in. That's very nice. Thank you very much for all the hearts. I feel the love. Thank you. Yeah, for those of you watching on YouTube, you're missing out on all the love we're getting on Periscope. I don't know why YouTube still won't only let me share things to Google+. It's just hysterical. They won't let you share things to Facebook. So, yeah. And does anyone actually, been saying for years, no one uses Google+. It was a kind of overhead overhead company names for podcasts? Well, there's several companies that have a series of podcasts. I know there's Gimlet Media has a few. Nerdist Industries has over a dozen. The How Stuff Works Network has, they're actually probably close to a dozen now, because they started with Stuff You Should Know, and then they've expanded from there. Oh yeah, Radiotopia. Ours is aois21. So the aois21 Podcast Network. Yeah, I listened to one show on Radiotopia. I listened to West Wing Weekly. I listened to about 20 or so different podcasts, and they're kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's been very interesting watching the growth of podcasts over the past few years, and there's a lot out there. Network, yeah. Yeah, so we are the aois21 Podcast Network. That's aois21. You can find out about us by visiting audio.aois21.com. That's where we have the information on all of our podcast series. All the episodes are there to be able to be listened to either by embedded, or you can link to the host site, or you can download them onto your phone, or however you prefer to listen to podcasts. We make sure all of our episodes appear not only on the host site, but also on our website, Apple Podcasts, Google+. Cool. Always love finding new listeners. And we had some good feedback on some of our podcasts when we were at the Charlottesville Book Festival this past weekend. Hopefully got some interest for some of them. We have a nice rising listenership on our podcast series. I know Sex Effects Perplexed, our sexuality podcast, has been on hiatus for the past few months. The host wanted to take a break for a little while, and her final episode has got over double the listeners of previous episodes. So people keep checking in on it. I guess so. Anxiously awaiting her return. And as we've continued to grow our podcast network, that has allowed us more opportunities to do sponsorship and to get the word out about some of the events we're doing. And overall, just tell good stories, That's what we really love to do. So just checking things here, see if there are any questions on Twitter or Facebook.
Excuse me, iTunes needs your...
What is iTunes? Go away. All right. Oh, excuse me. I got a little bit chest congestion. I haven't read Nabokov since I was in college. I'm trying to remember what I read of his. I know I didn't read Lolita. I think that was one of the options, but that's not the one I chose to read. I enjoyed him. I definitely enjoyed him more than Solzhenitsyn. No, it wasn't Pale Fire. Hold on, I'm looking up his bibliography. Read in English. I think it was Ben Sinister. I think that's what I read back in college. So. Yeah, it was Ben Sinister, because at the time I was very into dystopian stuff. I had read 1984 and Brave New World, and yeah, so I decided to see a dystopian from a Russian point. So yeah, I read Ben Sinister. I should read that again. I don't remember much of it. Yeah, I remember enjoying it, but that was probably sophomore year of college, so that would be 2001, 2002 for me. So, yeah, 15, 16 years. Now, it's been longer since I read 1984, but 1984 had such beautiful, vivid storytelling that it is very difficult to forget that. And same for Brave New World. I really loved the narrative Aldous Huxley had created, and his really, really excellent grasp of the science. I mean, obviously he was a biologist, not so much a particularly a writer, but he wrote an excellent story. Never read the sequel to that one. I've heard it's not good. No, I haven't read any Pynchon. Lately I've read a lot of Philip Roth, some Dickens, Frank Herbert, obviously, I just finished the 4th book in the Dune series. Nonfiction wise, I've been getting into a lot of David McCullough and Doris Kearns Goodwin, and a week ago I read Bruce Springsteen's autobiography, Born to Run. I'm probably going to get into a trend of sticking with fiction. My favorite Roth, I enjoyed. I know I hated Sabbath Theater. I liked American Pastoral pretty well. I still have to read Portnoy's Complaint. That's definitely the one I have to get to next. I Married a Communist. I didn't enjoy that much. And I was really, really disappointed in The Plot Against America. I really wanted that to be good. And the ending just absolutely ruined it for me. It was so good. And of course, when I can, after I read Portnoy's Complaint, I gotta get to The Human Stain. What else have I read of his? Oh, I enjoyed Goodbye Columbus. In fact, I remember seeing the movie long before I read the book. Yeah, Sabbath Theater was so incredibly bad. I just, there are very few books I give up on. I didn't give up on that, but I wanted to. I really hated Sabbath Theater. And all right. Oh yeah, No, I know it is good, but if you want better, you got to read Sinclair Lewis. It Can't Happen Here. He does it much better, and he wrote it ahead of the time that it's set. He wrote It Can't Happen Here in 1935 as Hitler was coming to power in Germany. He wrote this great novel about authoritarians coming to power in the United States. Far more prescient than Plot Against America, which came out, 15, 20 years ago? No, not even that. 2004, 13 years ago was Plot Against America. Now, the thing about It Can't Happen Here versus Plot Against America, in Plot Against America, he used real people. It was Charles Lindbergh, it was Henry Ford. It was all people that really existed, while It Can't Happen Here was entirely fictional. But even right down to It Can't Happen Here, you had the authoritarian president preferred to live in a hotel room rather than the White House. And you could just imagine Trump going and living in the Trump International Hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. Then when he gets sick of the White House, if he gets sick of the White House, probably will. So I really should get to Human Stain next, since I did American Pastoral and I Married a Communist. A lot of the reading I do nowadays is primarily audiobooks. I do sit down and do reading. Usually I read to my kids a lot. We did the whole Chronicles of Narnia series last year. And oh man, the ending of Chronicles of Narnia, the last battle, that really depressed me. I was so distraught after reading the last battle. And the series ended well, but oh man, that was sad. I'd kind of like to see if they can get the movie series going again. And Voyage of the Dawn Treader wasn't that great. The Dying Animal? Okay, I'll have to look into that one. Oh yeah, 2001. That seems right up my alley. How have I not heard about The Dying Animal before? They did a film. Oh, okay. The film Elegy starring Penelope Cruz and Ben Kingsley. is based off of it. I'll have to look into that one. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I know right now I'm kind of taking a break from reading this week because of the holiday. I've got just too much going on right now, so I'll be picking up hopefully with 1491 after the Thanksgiving break. So I've been meaning to read that book for a few years now. So all right, I'll have to check it out. I'll add it to my list. Thank you. Yeah, I have a friend of mine that is really deeply into Philip Roth, and he absolutely adores Portnoy's Complaint. And I think I'm on the waiting list for it still, so eventually I'll get it. But I'll look into the Dying Animal. Yeah. Okay. Oh, cool. All right. Well, it is 10 after 9, and this talk was only supposed to go for 30 minutes, so this has gone really well. Thank you very much for watching. We typically do this webcast on the 21st every month. I mean, obviously, we missed the past few months, but we're back this month. The video of this webcast will be posted to the aois21 YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/aois21. If you have any other questions you want to ask, between now and the 21st of December, feel free to tweet to us at aois21. Yeah, I've heard. I will read Portnoy's Complaint at some point. It's just a matter of availability and getting to me. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments. This was a nice spirited back and forth. I really enjoyed it. All right. All right. Well, have a good night. For those in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Everyone else, happy fourth Thursday in November, and a happy holidays for it's coming up. Thanks. All right. Well, have a good one. For aois21 Media, I am Keith F. Shovlin, publisher, and thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for all the wonderful hearts on Periscope. That's fantastic. All right. Have a good one.